another session of the Crystal of Origins. I have here with me Ines and Mel. Hi guys, thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about the divine touch, and to tell us a little bit more about what that divine touch means, I'm going to hand you over to Ines. So Ines, tell me about the divine touch, Ines.
The divine touch, yeah, this is just a label, but in the center of this divine touch is just love. It's when you do not think too much, it's just you're still in the center of your heart, and the energy comes out from your hands, and then you just feel like twinkling in your hands, and you just touch everything it's around you. Also, you know, whatever things, animals, kids, if they want to touch, because you know sometimes they don't want to be touched. And even when you go outside, I do that. I go outside and I am with my mind, because with physicality, I cannot touch, you know, all the trees, because people will watch me like, what, she's a little bit crazy. But I touch them with my mind and with my energy. And it's like, then you feel this, that they are returning back, really. And more than you do that, day by day, more you feel connected with your surrounding. And the surround is returning you back. And this is unbelievable, beautiful, just to be. You are not processing too much. I use my music, Bluetooth, and I put my music I adore. And the music occupies my mind, so it's not talking too much. And just I let my feeling go out, and energy, and just being in love. So simple in the end. All these techniques, everything is a tool to come to this simplicity in the end. That's how I see it.
I love the simplicity. Where do you think this divine touch comes from? Where does it come from for you, Ines?
Oh, from the source, from the beings I adore, my guardians, from or archangels, of human compassion when I see this. From children, animals, kingdom, from nature, oh, she gives a lot, and comes from everywhere, and from inside of me too. It's like a cycle. It's not just one way out that I give up to them and blah blah, but it's a cycle. It's just
it's reciprocal. It's give and take, isn't it? Yeah, I get that. That's beautiful, Ines.
And it's so simple, and that's how I see our future. I just like, when we are going to live like this, all of us. I just
You're describing 5D, you know, so that's definitely what I see in 5D, that reciprocal give and take, and the kind of just giving and receiving of love and vibration without any expectation or any judgment. It's beautiful.
And without conquering. Also, you know, I want to have this, what you have, or I want to have what Melanie has. I don't want anything. I just want to be myself and to share with you what we feel to share. So simple, not so conquering.
Yeah, not so demanding an expectation with it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Perfect. So Mel, your turn.
I think that's the same when, I mean, because I would class the divine touch originally woke up when I started to do Reiki. And that's when obviously people become aware of it first, when they do that and they realize that they have the ability. Everybody has the ability, but I think it's people go down the route, and obviously then you realize with the energy that comes through that you can assist people, you can help people to heal, you can remove blockages, but it's a divine gift. But it's also, some people have it naturally, some people need it catalyzed and need it awoken. But I think for a lot of people who have gone down the energy therapy route, or a healer, a lot of people in this industry, you'll find that they will have all started with Reiki, as I did. So, but you realize later on down the line that you've had that capability anyway, a lot of people with their own vibration.
Great, that's beautiful. Now, yeah, I love that. Yeah, you're right. And some of us do need catalyzing with that, and some of us need to be, you know, almost like taught what that looks like and what that feels like. So yeah, it's very, very important. And yeah, healing is definitely one of the, you know, starting blocks of this, for sure. Definitely.
Always. I mean, I with with the dogs, if the dogs are ever something wrong with them, I will put my hands on him. Some really love it. One, Yassen, the Rottweiler, no. It's like, no, you're not doing that to me. Thank you very much. So, you know, and some animals love it. Not all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's such a wise being. It's like, no, I don't need that. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to your surrendering and acceptance to it, doesn't it? And there are some, like you say, who need it and some that don't. So yeah. For me, the divine touch is unseen. It's just a way of being. It's very difficult in many ways for me to describe it, because it's something that I've always had. And not at a very high vibration, but quite a very low one, but it's always been something very, you know, innate inside of me. Never fully understood or comprehended what that really meant. As I moved forward into my vibration and understanding, I understood it more. To me, it's a way of just being. It's just something that you are. And I kind of feel like this is within every single soul. It's there, that divine spark. And accessing it is really quite simple. It's just surrendering to it, allowing it, listening to it, and then being it. And the being it is probably the hardest bit, because we really love the way it makes us feel. There's an enormous amount of love. It kind of infuses your whole body and it makes you feel very good, and you want to be in that state forever. The hardest part is actually emanating it and allowing other people to feel it too. And that is something that I came in with. So it's a bit of a different experience for me. The divine touch to me is like magic. So it feels tingly, it feels powerful, it's like non-judgmental, you know, it's a pure is the word. It's pure in its essence. It feels, to me, it feels like magic. That's how it feels like. And even when I'm with people and sharing that divine touch, or vibration or love, which is just another word for the same thing, it's amazing the effect that it has on many of those around us, and not just not the things that we just consider to be sentient, you know, like human beings or animals and plants, but also things that we don't think are sentient, which are things like material things like bricks and mortar and floor and bed and chair. These all have elements of earth in them, so therefore they are sentient. It's just whether you've got enough of your awareness to be aware of that. So, you know, we are very aware that crystals are very sentient. We are very aware that crystals are very, very powerful, and you use them for so many things, you know, cleansing, healing, you know, removing, you know, dark energies. You know, there's so many things crystals are used for, repairing grid lines, you know. And some recognize that they are sentient and some don't, but they are, you know, they are sentient. So that's the way I see it. I see it as invisible. To me, it's like an invisible touch that you don't necessarily see with the naked eye, but you definitely feel it within your soul. And the beauty of it is that we all have God's divine spark within us, and we can quite easily touch one another's heart. And it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much effort at all to do that, just to be able to reach out and touch someone using the divine touch, using your heart, using the purity of your intent. You'll be surprised at how people respond to it. So yeah, I think there'll be many that can relate and go, you know, yeah, you know, I'm in a supermarket and people are looking at me, or people come up and want to talk to me, or I'll be walking in the street and this person I've never met before just wants to come and chat to me, and they want to be in your vibration. They want to, like, they feel something very special. They feel it within their own soul, within their own heart, and they have this urge, you know, to come and talk to you and you know, bask in that energy. And it's a sharing of that vibration, a sharing of that love. I kind of see the divine touch as a very reciprocal thing, just like Ines says, you know, it's a very much give and take. I think as light workers, we're very good at giving, and then not very good at like receiving. And so, you know, and this is another vibration which we are all coming into and learning more about, receiving and allowing yourself to receive. And you know, it's a very a beautiful experience, that exchange of like giving and then receiving, and giving and receiving. It's such a beautiful thing to allow someone to, you know, give you vibration or give you healing or give you love, you know, and you being open enough as a beautiful soul to receive it. It's also another beautiful experience. And then when many of the light workers don't do that and go, no, I give, but I don't receive, and I only receive on occasion, you know, you really are denying yourself of that beautiful divine connectivity, that magical touch that you can experience between one soul and another soul. And it's so important that you have that experience, because, you know, yes, it's great to give, but it's also even better to learn to receive, especially for those light workers and light warriors, because they don't do that often enough. And this is how we get to that one consciousness. You know, the one consciousness is not just about giving. It's never been about giving. It's also about receiving as well, and sharing, you know, and that's really, really, really important. And a lot of the light workers and warriors need to understand that this is reciprocal. You know, there's a circle to this. Yes, it's really, really important that they understand that. So that's kind of what divine touch reminds me of. Kind of what it is for me. It reminds me of a Disney movie. You know, if you've seen Sword in the Stone, and you've seen Merlin, and he's like doing his, you know, magic. You know, you can see like bits of sparkle, you know, and the books are moving and the cauldrons are moving, and that's what it looks like to me. That's what it feels like to me. It's that kind of magic that's always there, and it's just whether you're gonna, you know, attune your own frequency, your own vibration to tap into that and experience it and be a part of it, because you already have it. The source is already within you. It's just attuning to it, you know, and whether you're going to allow yourself and surrender yourself to do that.
And I understand light workers, because I was the same. I'm now learning how to, because I didn't trust to what I will receive, you know, because it's in the past life I didn't receive love, no, so I received the other part of love. And that's why, you know, you lose the trust to humans, trust to our beings, also you invisible worlds. And then you need to reconnect again, to try again, to reconnect, and to find this own way of trusting, that is really pure, that you feel inside, that you can always ask someone for help, because also we need help. We also in a situation that we don't know how to react, what to do, you know, we are a bit of fear or whatever, and we need help. And that's good when you are so humble that you, even if you are such a crazy universal being, whatever, also this being can need help. So we all need sometimes help, and it's just good to know that, and to be humble and to ask for help. Ever, maybe my rabbit can help me, you know, with funny gestures in the moment. And that's how I see it. We all help each other. Doesn't matter who we are, or creator beings, or angels, or animal, or nature, or the star in the universe.
I think it's very important that we do what I say is get out of our own way, because I know that when in the past, when I have done healing sessions, you know, when you bring that energy in, and it is healing for you as well, because obviously you're bringing it in, you're bringing it through you, but you really have to step out of your own way. You have, like you just said, you have to trust, you have to drop the ego to properly bring that energy through, and to be able to pass that on to somebody else. So it is, you know, like you say, it's trusting and stepping out of your own way.
Yeah.
You know, it's not particularly you, it's what you're bringing through.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a training of trusting, because it's a repeat process, because always we do not know how to trust immediately in one session. When you did healing, I believe that you didn't know how to trust in the first healing process.
Yeah, exactly. It does. It takes time. You do have to trust the process. But once you realise that it's not about you, it's what you're actually bringing in.
Transmissions.
Yeah, and what you're bringing in for the person to help the person, and so it just then it comes natural for you to step aside and to allow that to happen. And once you allow that to happen, for that to come in, that's when some amazing things happen.
Beautiful.
When you don't get in your own way.
Yeah.
I agree. That's beautiful. So I'm going to set a challenge for everyone watching this video today. So from watching this video and from this point onwards, for a day, I want you to find the divinity, the beauty in everything you experience for that day. Everything. No matter how crappy and bad and negative and awful it might bring out those emotions in you, just for one day. Everything that you experience for one day, find the beauty in it, find the divinity in it. It's a very challenging thing to do. It's not easy. It's going to require a lot of focus from you. It's going to require a lot of tuning into your heart. It's going to require a lot of you trying to focus on the beauty of whatever you're seeing, no matter how bad it looks. And I want you to find it, because this is what we call the divine touch. This is what we call finding the divinity within. And if you can do that for one day, what I'm teaching you by doing this, by asking you to do this, is so that when you're presented with a situation, a life experience, a human life experience that can be really, really negative and can bring out some pretty negative stuff in you, to be able to find the divinity in it, to be able to find the beauty in that moment, in that experience, will really help you to see things from a different consciousness. And so that is my challenge for each and every one of you. Try it. See if you can do it. I challenge you to do it, because I think you can do it. And I think actually it will bring you to it will help you to experience a different consciousness, something that you may have experienced before, and something which many of you have not experienced before. So yeah, that's my challenge.
It's a good challenge. Very good challenge. Can I add something to that?
Of course you can.
For the person that is going to take this challenge up, and it is a challenge throughout the day, I make a suggestion that you take a pad and a pen with you, because there are going to be a lot throughout a day, and it will be good to write it down when you see it and what you've done towards it and for it. And I would love to see some of the those challenges and what actually you did and how you felt. But if you do that for one day, I think at the end of it, when you look, there would be a lot of lessons for you there. I am sure it would be very interesting for each and every one of you.
Yeah, that's perfect, Mel. Yeah, adding the pad and piece of paper and, you know, writing it down and reflecting is a beautiful way to understand your experiences and understand the vibration that you were in and what that felt like at the time, and maybe even reproduce it, you know, at a later day, because once you know what that feels like, you can replicate it. You know, repetition. You know, the ascended masters and source beings always talk a lot about that. Repetition, 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 repetition. That's the key. That's how it works. So.
I heard once that Charlie Chaplin said, he's saying that the human has the ability to be angry with the same thing 1,000 times, but they can smile in one joke just once. Why? So why are we not smiling in one joke 1,000 times and arguing 2 times or maybe once? You know the opposite.
Yeah.
But it's good to remember this now. Why we are attracted so much to arguing.
I think sometimes we're very good at punishing ourselves as human beings, and that's part of the issue. Is like, why, we are, we kind of do this to ourselves. And so it's about, people call it retraining the brain, but I don't see it like that. I just see it as remembrance, as the extraordinary soul that each and every one of you are, and it's just about remembering that and coming back to that, and living like that. I mean, that's such a great way to live your life, being that way. You're not going to be like that 24/7, but the closer we get to 5D, you will. So yeah,
bit by bit, step by step. We are not running, but doing step by step. If you are going too fast with the car, you don't see the surroundings. No,
absolutely.
Here you see more.
That's right. I agree with you, Ines. That's a great analogy. Absolutely. Slow down. Enjoy the trees, enjoy the grass, enjoy the people that are, that you're passing by, enjoy the breeze on your face. It's a beautiful way to do it. I love that. That's
we
wonderful.
hope that this time where we've had all the problems in the world, and obviously everybody's been inside, that it's given people the ability to slow down and to be able to see things more like that. I'm sure it has in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, I have spoken to many people who are in that particular circumstances, and I'm sure you guys have too. So yeah, it's gone both ways, isn't it? Some people are like really kind of had the time and to explore a bit more about their own divinity and the purpose. And it's the key thing, the purpose. What are they doing? Is this what they want to do for the next 30, 40, 50 years of their life? Is this a good life? Does it make them happy? Do they feel joy? And there's that element of it, and the other element of it is like, God damn it, you just really need to go back to work because I'm sick of you being at home, so go. So it depends, the children are running around. It's like, children, you need to be at home, you're driving me insane, and there's been opposite ends of the spectrum, and couples as well, like really discovering more about their own relationship and the connection that they have. And some are like, it's brought them closer together, and others it's like, ooh, we really don't have much in common. And actually being with you, for all these months, has made me feel actually maybe, we're not suited for one another. So, again, there's so many different
there's
elements.
been all aspects. There's been people who have had a quite a heavy schedule work-wise, and I think with the time off they've realized that they don't want to go back to that. They want more of a life, and there seems to be quite a few people out there who've got to that stage and realize there's more to life than just work, and just a career and getting on the ladder.
I know.
And
isn't that beautiful?
It's something to eat, it's somewhere to sleep, and to have someone you care about around, and just to be safe, we don't need so much in the end when we are like, and to connect with our souls and to connect with others. But we also do not need so much physical touch also, when you are connected like this with soul to soul. It's good, of course, but yeah,
and you're so right with that, Ines. And I think, when you have like 2-3 months of being away from your friends and your family, you suddenly start to realize that brand new TV you bought, or that PlayStation, or that Xbox, or that new car that you have actually does not provide you with the same level of joy and happiness as it does to be able to to hug you know, your friend, or to go and like drink some beers, or to go and walk in the park, or to go and share an experience, and you realize that actually that's more valuable and more important to me than all of the things that I've surrounded myself with. You know, these things really don't mean anything to me, you know, and we're realizing that social interaction and human connection and a heart-to-heart connection is really important. But it had taken, you know, 3 months for you to be apart from it, to realize, to help people realize what's really, really important, and more importantly, what's valuable to you in this world. So now that you know, it's important not to let it go, right? And it's important.
I've just realized, I just had a bit of a aha moment.
Oh yeah, share.
I've been watching things where about initiation, and they all over the world, in the UK, many thousands of years ago, they have the like this stone beehive huts and the stone lodges where people would go in and they would stay in the dark. And it would be to the fact of, obviously, down to the initiation route, they were being initiated, and they would go in there, it would be quiet, it would be dark, and they would hopefully wake up, travel, go to other places, connect and everything like that, and then they would walk out to the sunrise. And when you think about what we've been through, this is tantamount to being an initiation process for everybody, because they have been put in a place inside for a certain amount of time under completely different circumstances, and what now this is starting to be over, they're walking back out into the light with a completely new set of eyes. So I think you can look at this as what's happened. It's more of an initiation for the whole of the collective consciousness.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. When you take away one soul's liberty, you certainly start to, you know, appreciate what's really valuable and important to you in the world. So yeah, it's like being in one of those, you know, expansion tanks, isn't it, where you're completely deprived of all your senses, and then you come out of it having like pretty amazing experiences. And this is very similar to that. You've been very much restricted and told what you can and cannot do, which I find hilarious. Imagine telling that to a source God, what you can and cannot do. Like, really? But yeah, been told what you can and cannot do. And then people adhere to it, you know, and it's amazing how much of that restriction really teaches you a lot about yourself, a lot about everything around you and what's important to you, and how you want to live your life, you know, how you want to conduct yourself as you go forward. So yeah, it's amazing things.
I saw in Italy, because I live near Italy, how much creativity comes out from the situation. They were in lockdown, and they were like sending coffee through the ropes from one building to another. They were having concerts, singing in the balconies. I watched these videos and I was like starting to cry and to adore humanity more, because I always saw that humanity has a beautiful, beautiful heart. When the circumstances are not so good, they know how to come together. The passion they have, there is, I think this is the most important thing that humanity has, this heart, that they can connect. Even when the darkest of the dark can come, they can survive together, always. If not, will not be here. You know what we had been through in the past ages. No,
absolutely. I totally get that. I was brought up in some pretty poor areas, and you know, a lot of my friends are really, really poor, and I've lived in poverty myself, so I know what that feels like. And it's interesting because when you are around and surrounded by people of the same kind of, you know, same kind of like experience as you pull together. It's amazing how much it's pulled together at that level, really. You really, really do look out for one another. You really, really do pull together. And what you're describing, Ines, is something I've experienced a lot during those times. You know, you help each other out, you support one another, and if you've got something else someone else needs, then you just give it.
You just give it freely, because you know that he needs, and you will receive it, because you're feels in a society, you know, secure.
Exactly.
You will get what you need. But
exactly.
you don't need the space shuttle now to go to the.
It just saves so much trauma. You know, I can remember times when, you know, people, like I was working at the time, and I was working like six days a week, and I was working long shifts. I was working 12, 14-hour days. And I can remember, you know, being involved with other families who were really poor as well. And, you know, they were struggling for money, you know, and like, you know, watching someone, you know, watching some of your friends, closest people that you know, saying, you know, I can't even afford to put food on the table. You know, I've paid my bills, we've paid our debts, you know, and I'm struggling, and, you know, and all I need is 30 quid. And you're like, what? That's all it's going to take? 30 quid? Yeah, 30 quid. Well, here you go, then have it. You know, they're like, no. I'm like, look, just you need it. I don't need it. I'm single. I don't have the expenses of a family. You know, just take it. You know, if it helps you out, it helps you out. And that's how beautiful it can be. You know, I didn't expect any of that back. Didn't expect any of it to be returned to me. You just give it freely, open-heartedly, and then, you know, it is what it is, and you were able to help, you know, one human being out. And I'm sure at some point, you know, in the future, someone did the same for me, but in a different way. And this is how the vibration works. This is how that works. And it's so important. I think you learn a lot. I learned a lot when I was growing up in those areas, and having a lot of friends around me. You were, you know, struggling, and yeah, you learn a lot, and going through poverty yourself, and when you can't even make ends meet, you know, and you're struggling, you know, and you have to like be really creative in being able to make meals from nothing. This is where I learned how to cook. You know, we didn't have the luxury of like being able to go out and buy pre-packed meals and stuff like that. We had to learn how to cook. We had to cook, and you have to cook from basic materials, cans of tomatoes, herbs, spices. Onions was always a very staple part of any kind of, you know, any kind of like soup you were making, you know. So you had to learn, and if you didn't learn, you starved, you know, simple as that. So you learn a lot. You learn a hell of a lot. So yeah, it's kind of what it's about.
So it's all round to your house for dinner then?
Yeah, sure, I'll cook for you. No problem. I'll make a great curry.
Oh, wonderful. My favourite.
If you don't like curry, I'll make you something else. It's all right. I can cook. No problem. Yes. So yeah, thank you. I think we're going to end it on that. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And please don't forget the challenge. I want to remind you of the challenge that the three of us have set for you, you know, to find the beauty, to find the divinity, you know, the touch, for one day only, in everything, no matter how bad that experience is. And as Mel said, you know, take a pen and a pad with you and write down your experience, and write down how it made you feel, and write down, you know, what your experience was. So at some point you can go back and reflect upon it, and tune into that feeling, tune into that way of being, tune into that divinity. So yeah, that's wonderful. So thank you so much. All right, we'll see you again next week.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys.